toparena! Hey, Christian in the house with another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is the second part about the review and ranking of all gemstones and relics. We did the first part ranking and analyzing all the relics. Now we are going straight to it, to the gemstones. It's going to be a long video, but take it! We're going to talk about the gemstone. As you see here in the bottom of each relic, there is a number of shapes, different shapes. These are the sockets that the relics got for gemstones. Each relic has a different amount of socket spaces. The stronger the rarity, mythicals, legendaries, epics, and rares, the higher the amount of sockets. Mythical has 4, legendary 3, epics 2, and rares only 1. And there are different shapes. In total, there are 5 shapes: circles, triangulars, squares, diamonds, and pentagonal gemstones. Each gemstone only works in the socket with the same shape as it. So you can only put on the circle shape circle gemstones. You cannot put square, triangular, pentagonal, or any other ones. So there are limitation of combos for it based on the type of the sockets we have. But there is a lot of gems with different effects, so there is a lot of possibilities we can use. And we gonna read each one of them, review and rank. Let's go. It's going to be a long video, but let's do it. Let's start with the circular ones. The mythical boss layer. Boss layer, circular gemstone. The wearer deals 10% more damage to bosses. This will be extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. This is main use. It's for PvE content. For sure, bosses. But is this probably one of the strongest gemstones out there into bosses. Champions that do raw damage will take a lot of advantage of these, and we can maybe put it on some relics that we can use more than one, like this one, the Stormcaller, the Gore Crescent, the Hand of Uncreation, the Scroll of the Unseen. All of them has 2 circle slots, 2 circle slot, 2 circle slot, 2 circle slot, 2 circle slot. So this gemstone, it will be extremely impactful to the damage into bosses. Hydra and Chimera, the clan boss is fairly easy right now, but Hydra and Chimera that are competitive bosses between the clans and the players, the number of boss layer gemstones that you got can be very, very impactful. So this gemstone, its main use on PvP, but she's the top tier of the main use on PvP until now. Don't understand me wrong. If it had a general use, it would be a lot higher. But as the PvP main use, she's top tier. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Bolstered defense. Circular mythical gemstone. Ignore defense effects, are 12% less effective against the wearer. Oh my god, this gemstone is crazy powerful. It nullifies part of the effect of the savage stats and other skills that ignore. It's like Harima's passive. This is the same effect as Harima passive, a little bit lower, the amount of percentage, but you can use more than one. This is really, really strong. I would say that this gemstone here, it's as tier defensive gemstone, and you can use it both for PvE and PvP. So I would say she's crazy strong. Crazy, crazy strong. No, I would put it like godlike. I think she's godlike. It must be something more crazy than that. On that bulwark. Third mythical circular gemstone. Every time the wearer is revived, decrease all incoming damage by 10%. It stacks up to 30%. So if you revive it 3 times, you're gonna take 30% less damage. Oh my god. The champions that revive a lot will be more tanky. This has a lot of potential both for PvP and PvE. I think even more on PvE. Oh my god, it's good. The gemstone really have crazy good effects, and you can use more than one, so you can reduce up to 60%. Oh my god. I don't know if they are multiplicative or additive, but on that board has crazy potential. I would put that as very strong. Very, very strong, with potential on PvP and PvE. Let's keep going. Blue Thirst Prowess. Less mythical circular gemstone. Every time the wearer kills an enemy, increases the damage dealt by 10%. It stacks up to 30%. Oh my god. The synergy with Gorker's Hand, it's unbelievable, and it has 2 slots for it. Blue Thirst Prowess. It's really powerful for this kind of strategy. So, I will put it as godlike. And it has crazy synergy with this item here. It's a godlike with crazy synergy. Let's go, let's go. Puppet Master, the first legendary. Circular. The wearer gains an additional 30 accuracy when attempting to place stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear to fear, petrification, and chip debuffs. Okay, interesting, has potential. The crowd control champions, when using this gemstone, will have 30%, not 30%, 30 more accuracy when trying to land these debuffs. It's impactful, got a lot of potential, so let's put it here, as got a lot of potential. Uncontrollable. Legendary Circular, the wearer gains an additional 30 resistance against enemies attempting to place stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear to fear, petrification, or ship. I think it's the same version of Puppet Master, but for resistance. So this one is for the debuffer, this one is for the tankier resistance base, or the cleanser resistance base. Has the same potential as the other one, at the same level. They are exactly the same, but opposite effects. Explosive Power. Circular Gemstone. Bomb debuffs placed by the wearers deal 10% more damage. This is godlike. This is godlike, and I think it's crazy powerful. It has crazy synergy with some champions, crazy synergy with the bomb champions. I would say it's so specific, but it's godlike for what it's meant to do. The bomb champions will gladly take advantage of this, and circular sockets are very abundant of that. Dungeon Delver. The wearer deals 10% more damage in dungeon battles. Interesting. This will apply to the waves and to the boss. So really interesting. This one only applies to the boss. This one will apply to everything, but this one will apply to every boss, not only the dungeon ones. So it will apply to the Hydra, to the clan boss, to the Chimera, to the bosses on the campaign. So this one is a lot more strong. This is closer. It will apply to the waves also, but only on dungeons. So it's impactful, but less than the other. And it's a PvE main usage. So let's put as main user PvE behind it. The epics from Circular. Circular Gemstone, Unflinching. Bosses deal 5% less damage to the wearer. Okay, this is the tank version of the boss layer. It's impactful for every boss. So let's put it here, in the middle of both. It's the tankless version of the other two that we already saw. Destructive Accuracy. The wearer ignores 5% of the target's resistance when placing bombs, poison, and HP debuffs. Oh, this is really impactful. Really impactful. I think that is as impactful as the damage one. As impactful as the explosive power. Because sometimes landing the debuff is as important as dealing the damage. So I'm gonna rank this right behind it. Right behind it. I would say it's very strong. No, godlike. Let's put this godlike. Target Finder. The wearer's accuracy increased by 5 whenever an enemy resists a debuff placed by the wearer. Stacks up to 40%. So, for that to start to work, you already got resisted. And to stockpile to the maximum amount you can, you're gonna have to be resisted 8 times. Oh my god. If you are resisted 8 times, you already probably lost your fight. You already lost your fight, or it's going to delay your effectiveness on dungeons and things like that. Not so impactful. Not so impactful. This Target Finder, it's here, not so relevant. Not so relevant. Full Killer. The wearers deal 5% more damage against enemies with full HP. Okay, this can be really strong to one-hit KO champions like Hegemon, and one-shot champions. Like, for example, if you're using a Mizani to one-shot bosses that have full HP, this whole killer, if you don't have the boss layer or the dungeon delver, this whole killer can be a replacement for it. For half of the damage it could be done. So I think it's very impactful, and it's also used on the PvP, not only PvE. So it has a more area of effect. I think it will be got potential here. It got potential. And it's a little bit higher than the PvE only, because it can be PvP used also. If it was only for PvE content, it will be behind the other ones. But it also has a PvE usage. So I'm going to put it a bit higher, because it can be PvP and PvE used. Critical Bolster. The wearer's defense increases by 1% each time they receive a critical hit. Stacks up to 10%. Not so impactful. It can be interesting, but not crazy. A little better than this other one. On a ring focus, the wearer's accuracy increases by 3 per each debuff on them. So you need to be debuffed for your accuracy to increase by 3? Not so relevant. Not so relevant, but I think it's alright better than the other one here. Let me put behind it. Unstoppable. Turn meter decreases effects are 10% less effective on the wearer. Okay. So it's the counter to the effect of these. No, not these. Is the counter to the effect of the Tempus Sanguinis. A little bit interesting. It works PvP and PvE, but not crazy relevant. So I would put it here. Between the gemstones, it's not so relevant, but it's a lot better than these other 3. Invigorated. Turn meat increases effects are 10% more effective on the wearer. This, in the other side, is more impactful because the turn meat boost is more important than the turn meat reduction usually, and more common. So I think this is more impactful a little than the other version of it. Let's put invigorated a little bit higher here. It will be God potential lowest tier. So these are all the circular gemstone that we got till now. Let's continue to the triangular gemstones. Extra punishment mythical triangular. The wearer deals 20% more damage against enemies under stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, petrification, or ship. So this is the best version of the mastery that we already have that deals the same. It has potential, but not crazy potential. There are some bosses that you can put provoke, you can put fear, true fear, and some bosses that you can put sleep, like the Sun Devil. The provoke can be used on Hydra, the fear and the true fear can be used on Chimera, and that might be interesting. The provoke can be used on Magma Dragon also, so you can give a lot more damage on them with that, and that can also apply to the PvE, but not so impactful, I think. If it was HP burn here, it would have crazy synergy with Gizmak, with Vulcanus, with champions like these, but we don't. So that will reduce a little bit the impactful of this gemstone. Let me put it as God potential here, between these two. These one are more general used, so this will be right here. Double down. Triangular mythical. When attacking targets under stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, petrification, or ship debuffs with their default skill, the wearers has 10% of chance to repeat the attack once. This is so specific. To attack people with stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, petrification, or ship, and having the chance of using the A1 again. Oh my god. Against bosses could be really interesting. There are some champions that can do magic with that. For example, Mighty Yuko with stun set, that you put stun and you use the A1 one more repetition of the attack, you can steal the things again and put stun again. That could be good. It has potential, it has crazy energy with some champions. I think it's even better than that extra damage, but it's also really situational. So double down, I will put as god potential a little bit. I think it's almost the same here. It got potential, a lot of potential, but it's more specific than the other ones. I'm going to put here just almost the same. Constant onslaught. The wearer has 80% of chance to gain an extra turn after killing an enemy. This is really impactful to the PvP. Harder to use on the PvE because mostly applies to waves. On the bosses, if you kill the boss, it's already over probably, unless the boss has minions. But oh my god, on the PvP this is a lot of RNG, good RNG. It has a lot of potential. I think this is strong, and this can be a little bit strong. It's a lot of RNG based, but it is very strong. I'm gonna put it here on the very strong. Sharpened Riposte, less mythical triangular gemstones. The wearer deals 50% more damage when counterattacking. This is really strong. It synergies with some champions in a crazy level. Champions like Cupidus, Arix, Taras. My friend, Sharpened Riposte. You can use more than one. You can use two on Stormcaller. Oh my god, you can use one on Gore Crescent. You can use it on... okay, you cannot use here. So only on Hydra, on Chimera group. But on Stormcaller you can use two. Oh my god, that on Taras. This is extremely powerful. So Sharpened Riposte is the first crazy synergy one that I saw. Crazy synergy one. Don't understand me wrong. These godlike here that we had will be a lot more easy to use with crazy effect for all the champions. But the synergy between that and some specific champion, it will be game changing a lot more. So this is between crazy synergy and godlike. Oh, okay, I will put it like godlike. I will put it like godlike. I will put it here. Godlike. If the synergy was general, I would put it as crazy synergy, SS tire. But I will put it here. Godlike. Change my mind. Let's keep going. Piercing Strike, legendary triangular. After killing an enemy, the wearer next attack will ignore 12% of the target's defense. Guys, we know this is already really strong. And we know that Blue Thirst, it will be really good synergy with champions that do that. We already told about it. Rotos, Ieyasu, many others, Georgid, and there are many. I'm just telling about the meta ones, but there are many, and you can use that and that in the same relic. Guys, Piercing Strike, it's really strong. Alongside that one's Blue Thirst that we already saw. So I'm going to put it right behind it. One gives you more damage, the ones give you more ignore defense. With the same situation. Godlike triangular gemstone. Critical strategy. Increases the wearer's critical damage by 10% for each enemy whose HP is at 50% or lower. This is really good. This is really good PvP and PvE. So critical strategy, it is good if you're winning the battle or you have the chance you're gonna give you more damage. It has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. So I'm going to put it has potential, I think right here. Right here. Rolling force. When using multi-hit skills, each consecutive hit after the first one that the wearer makes will ignore 5% of the target's defense. Oh my god, this screams Marius. This is scream nuts. Gnut. This is scream Acresia. And many other champions with multiple hits. But this one max HP hits on the bosses. This is crazy strong. And there is champion like Nell that has 4 hits. Now the Black Thief. 4 hits that has consecutive ignore defense. This will have more synergy. This is very powerful. Rolling force, I will put it as very strong here. Very strong. Triangular one. Attacking prowess, the wearer has 8% chance to reset a skill cooldown if it kills an enemy or cause once per hit. Another very RNG based with a lot of potential. It's like the Exoturn. It's like the Exoturn. This can change a battle. This can change a battle. If your Rotos have an Exoturn A3 and he resets the A3, it can use the A3 again. You can win the battle because of that. Just because of that small amount of RNG. So the potential of that attacking prowess is really powerful. Not only for that, the PvE also. The PvE also. If you're using, for example, Amarius on the Spider, and you have 2 triangles, and you have constant onslaught and the attacking prowess, and you use the A3 of the Marius, triple hit AoE, triple hit AoE skill with max HP, and you kill all the spiderlings, and you proc these 2, you're gonna have, for example, your Exoturn and your ability again. Guys, this is craziness. This is craziness. I think this can make world records get another layer. I will set up it as really strong, but here this time, really strong. Epic triangular gemstones. When attacking, pouncing strike. When attacking an enemy, increase the wearer's critical hit by 5% for each active debuff on the target placed by the wearer. This is so situational. It can give you more room to other stats if you know your champion are going to put a lot of debuffs on the enemy. But at the same time, it's so situational, so situational. And when we are talking about critical hate, if you depend on the critical hate, you won't want to lose all the opportunity of landing criticals. So I will put pouncing strike on not so relevant, but somewhere here. Not so relevant, but somewhere here. On the PvE you're never gonna use, on the PvP you're never gonna use that. If you want critical hit, you're gonna start with the full critical hit. You're never gonna trust on something to have 5% of nothing having your effect that and losing the battle because of that. Unless it's some strategy that you already got it, so very situational. Target smash. The wearer's damage increase 1% of their total accuracy. Oh my god. So for example, if you have a champion with 400 accuracy, it's give you 4% damage. If you have 1000 accuracy, you're gonna have 10% more damage. It's impactful. It's impactful. It can give you more damage for some champions. Not as crazy as the other ones that gives 10%, but still impactful with hybrid champions. For example, champions that use accuracy like Carnage, it will give more damage also. I think it's more impactful on PvE than PvP, but really impactful also. So let's put it as God potential. Around here. Unrelenting power. When using multi-hit skills, each consecutive hit after the first one that the wearers make deal 3% more damage. Really good for Marius, for Nut, for Acrisia, and for other champions like Nell, as I said, but less powerful than the other one. Less powerful than the other one. This is more powerful. So, lower version of it. Lower version of it. Let me put it as God potential, but really here behind. Quick strike. If no enemy has taken a turn yet, the wearer's first attack will deal 10% more damage. Incredibly situational, but incredibly powerful for an epic. For an epic. There is a mastery with similar effect already, but this is really strong. So I'm going to put it as very strong up there. Unbowed Might. Rares on triangular form. The wearer's critical damage increased by 3% for each debuff they are under. Stacks up to 30%. So it can give you 30% critical damage, but you need 10 debuffs on you. You don't want that to happen. It's relevant, but not as much. I think it's the top of the not so relevant. Pierce defense. The wearers will ignore 3% of the target's defense if the target is under 2 or more debuffs. This is interesting. It's a little bit more ignore defense, what is relevant. Not crazy amount and very situational, but is more impactful on PvE. So I'm going to put it here. It could be here in the top of not so relevant, but I will put here in the end of the main use on PvE. It can be used on PvP also, but a really low amount of times you're gonna use it. Shield Breaker. The wearers deal 5% more damage to targets under shield buff for each buff on the target. Oh my god. If the target has shield plus all the 9 buffs, you're gonna do 50% more damage. And it's not damage to the shield, it's damage to the target under a shield. Come on, guys. This triangular gemstone shield breaker. If the text here is right, it's very strong. Very, very strong. So let's put shield breaker here as very strong. Bottom side, because many effects needs to be set to work, but it has a lot of potential. Life Drain. The wearer's critical hits destroy 1% of the target's max HP per each buff on the wearer. Stacks up to 20%. Oh my god, that's very situational. Very situational. You want to destroy the max HP, but you need buffs on you to that. And you need to land critical hits. The relevance of that's not that high. So Life Drain, I'm going to put here in the top of not so relevant. Not on the top, second placement. Not so relevant. I think the other one is a little bit better, the Unbowed Might. So that was the triangular gemstones. Let's go to the square. Mythicals. Torpidity. Mythical square gemstones. Decrease an enemy speed by 7% if they are under. Stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, petrification, sheep debuff placed by the wearer. It's interesting, there are some of them like sheep and stun are red that decreases the target speed. So it's interesting but not crazy. I will put it as not so relevant, the top tier. God. The wearers ignore 50% of the target resistance when placing provoke debuffs. So specific. I think I'm going to put it here. Not so relevant. D-tier. Mythicals at the D-tier. The square, until now, not crazy. Blunt blades. Enemies under provoke debuff have 50% chance to land a weak hit on the wearer. This is a lot better than the other two, but also really specific and not so relevant, both for PvE and PvP. It has some champions that can take crazy advantage of it, but it's so specific. I think this one is the top tier of the not so relevant. Buff depletion. When attacked, the wearer has 50% of chance to decrease the duration of a random buff on the attacker by 1 turn. Okay, this is interesting. This has potential. A lot more than the other 3 on the square gemstones. When attacked, you're going to take the time of the buffs. We are aware to have champions that has these effects. You know, like Harvest Jack passive. It's like a version of Harvest Jack passive. So let's say it has potential but very low. I'm gonna put it here. Steadfast legendary. Steadfast preparation. Legendary square. If the wearer loses 20% or more of the max HP from a single attack, the next hit received will deal 20% less damage. Interesting. In champions like Rotos, this is even better, because you're not going to be killed so easily with the double hit skills. In fact, double hit skills will never kill Rotos if you have these on him. And for some other champions like Galatir and things like that, it will make him so much more tankier. I think that's the first very strong one that we saw on the squares. So I put it as very strong around here. Weakening resolve. When attacked with a multi-hit skills, decrease the damage that the wearers receive from each subsequent hit after the first one by 10%. So this is really good. Champions like Marius will do less damage, but it's very specific. So it has potential but not crazy potential. I think that's around here. Damage mitigation. In the incoming damage, if the incoming damage will exceed 30% of the wearer's max HP, decreases that damage received by 10%. This is also really strong. It's a very strong one that I'm going to put here. So interesting, these legendary square ones. Opening Gambit. Increase the wearer's chance of placing debuffs with their default skill by 5%. It's strong. is strong but not crazy strong. It has potential. For some champions it's really good. For example, if you use the guinea shark to farm some contents on the PvE and some other champions, I think it's got potential, and it's around here. No, around here. Epics, squares, single combat master. The wearers receive 5% less damage from single target attacks. Interesting, but not so relevant. Has potential. So let me put it here. Weak retort. The wearers receive 50% less damage from counterattacks. It's also interesting, but not so relevant. Not so relevant. Very, very specific. I think it has a lot less potential than the other. Let me put it around here. Strengthening. The damage received by the wearer decreases by 1% for every 10% HP losses. This is good. This is good. It makes your champion tankier as it lost HP. It's not crazy because the maximum amount you can reduce is 9%, but still good, not bad. I think I will put it here. It's got potential around here. Strength sap. When the wearer is attacked, destroys the attacker's max HP by 3%. Stacks up to 30%. This is good against the Scarab. This is good against the Scarab. So it has some potential, but mainly PvP use. I'm gonna put it here. Barbed defense. Any reflect damage effects debuff and buffs. Any reflect damage effects and buffs on the wearer deal 10% more damage to enemies. What? Reflect damage effects and buffs. So not any buffs, just the reflect damage buffs. Very specifically, just a few champions got it. Like the Porcupine, Angar, and things like that. Not so relevant. Not so relevant. Brogni also has some. I'm going to put it around here. Embellished shield. Shield buffs placed on the wearer are 10% stronger. Okay. Okay, if the comp shields on Hydra and clan boss is still there, it would be amazing. So I think it's a mainly PvP use right now. We'll put it here. It's not so relevant, but a lot more relevant than the others here. Steadfastness. Destroy HP effects are 20% less effective against the wearer. You can use that on towers, but not crazy relevant. So I'm going to put it around here. Yeah, I think here. This way. Sanctified skin. The wearers receive 10% more healing. That's good, but not crazy good. I think it's better on the PvE content. So I'm going to put it here. I think around the gems, the squares were the weakest one we saw. Let's continue. Diamond gemstones. Mythical ones. Nuker defense. The wearer reduces incoming damage by 10% for each dead ally. These here on a champion called Nice, it's extremely powerful, and some other champions have crazy good synergy with that. I like this gemstone, the diamond necro defense. I think it's very strong when used in the right champion. So I will put it at very strong, so it's very situational. I will put it around here. Around here. Revivals, boom! The wearers gain 10% turn meter every time they revive an ally. Okay, so if you revive some champion on your team, someone with Revival's boon will also get turn meter. It's interesting, but has potential, but not crazy one. I think I will put it at God potential around here. Around here. Heal and go. The wearer has 5% chance to get extra turn when healing an ally with an active skill. Okay, that's really impactful for PvE. These can be really strong. Really strong. I think on the PvP main usage, this is around here. Or even here. Let's put here. Right behind the only dungeon damage. This is really powerful. Imagine you're facing the Chimera, your Galati is healing all your team, and he gets extra turn, and he has the chance of doing more thing. It's a passive relentless that you're gonna build into your champion's kit. Really strong. Caught unaware, mythical diamond gemstones. The wearers gain 25 accuracy for each enemy who has not taken a turn yet. My friends, this is crazy strong for PvP. That's going to kill half of the gold seconds resistance based teams. My friends, this is the first. This is one of the first godlikes. I'm gonna put it here. Really strong, really strong. Legendary diamonds, gemstones. Parting gift. Whenever an ally is killed by an enemy, the wearer has a 10% chance to decrease the cooldown of one of their skills by 10%. Oh, this might save you if you got these on a reviver. That's very strong. Very strong. I'm gonna put this parting gift as very strong around here. Gathering momentum. Increase the wearer's turn meter by 3% each time they place a debuff on an enemy. Cannot increase the wearer's turn meter more than 20% in a single turn. For example, if I got this diamond gemstone on my nuker and I have an Odin on my team, and Odin go there, strip everybody and put stun on everybody, it's gonna give me 12% crit increased turn meter. This is very powerful. This is very powerful, not only for nukers, that is really powerful for everybody. And it works really good for PvE and PvP. But on the PvE, you don't want to have it on a perfectly tuned team. So, unless you have it on everybody. So, I think this is very strong. Very strong around here. Carved open. The wearer's default skill will ignore 10% of the target's resistance. Interesting, but not very interesting. So not so relevant around here. Expeditious exploitation. Oh my god. Increase the wearer's speed by 5 for each enemy under stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, petrification, cheap. Debuff placed by the wearer. This is interesting. This is interesting for crowd control champions. It got a lot of potential. I will put it around here. It has a lot of potential for champions that are crowd control players like Galat here. Precision removal epics from the diamonds. The wearer's accuracy increases by 30 when removing buffs. This is really strong. Really strong. It might help you a lot removing some resistance stone skin champions. This is very strong. I will put it probably here. Here. Starting strength. The wearer's resistance increased by 30 until they take a turn. Resets each round. So this is the counter. This is the counter to that. This is the counter to that. It's equally strong, but just for gold second teams. So it's a little bit less impactful than the cult unaware, but equally very strong. So I will put it at very strong. I will put it around here. Yeah, around here. Energy expansion. Every time the wearer receives healing from a skill, increase the wearer's max HP by 1%. Stacks up to 10%. This is really, really strong. Because you can have more than one. You can have more than one. Here. You can have 2 here. You can have 1 here. You can have more than one of these. Champions based on max HP. This will impact directly on their damage. And it does not say that it's only active skill, so it can be passive effects. Like continues you and things like that. My god, this is really good. It will give everybody on your team using that the maximum, this max HP. If you're using it on PvE, on PvP, it can give you more damage. This is very strong. I would say this is very strong. Not crazy strong, but very strong. I will put it around here. Revival Blessing. Allies revived by the wearer are additional healed by 10% of the wearer's HP. Interesting, impactful, but not so impactful. So it has a... I think it's the top tier of not so relevant. The diamond rare ones. Enhanced shot. The wearer's accuracy increases by 3 per each buff on them. Not so relevant. Around here. Not that much accuracy. You need a lot of buffs to be relevant. You need 10 buffs to get 30 accuracy. Come on. Blessed Heal. When the wearer heals an ally with a skill, the heal is 10% more effective. This is a lot stronger than these other ones. And for some champions, this can be a really good strategy. I would put as has potential, but very in the end. Has potential, but a lot in the end. Unburdened. The wearer's speed increased by 2 for each dead ally. This is good. This is really good for revivers. It has potential. It's not very strong, but it has a lot more potential than many things. I will put it around here. Because the amount of speed is not that crazy, but it can save you. Greater Restoration. When the wearers restores destroyed max HP, the restore is 25% more effective. Okay. It's good, but not crazy good. It has potential, not that many potential. It's not so relevant. I will put it around here. Yeah, around here. And now, the last one, the pentagonals. Let's see the mythicals. Slow the enemy. Increase the wearer's accuracy by 40 when using turn meat reduction effects. This is good. This is good. It's really strong. For specific champions, this is really strong. So I would say is the slowest part of the really strong. Around here. Around here. Patient Refuge. When the wearer is forced to miss the turn, the damage received by them is decreased by 30%. What Smith said? Their turn. You are stunned. You are under the effect of Chrono Cube here. That you're going to lose 2 turns. You're gonna lose 1 turn, and you can put 2 of them here. It's a strong combo. Patient Refuge. Really strong. If it counts for things like CC, for example, freeze, stun, sleep, and things like that, this is even more strong. So Patient Refuge is really strong. And I think I'm gonna put it around here. No, around here. Impede them. Increase the wearer's accuracy by 40 when using increased cooldown effects. Oh, Warlord, Yumeko, Krixia, and all these other champions that does that will love these. So this is really strong around here, because the relevance of these champions that does these actions are really strong. Skill Master. Increase the wearer's resistance by 40 when resisting increased cooldown effects. This is the opposite of impede them. So it has the similar effect. For the champions resist them, it's the similar effect. Equal, very strong. If you have your Galaxy full of resistance, your Cardinal full of resistance, and they're trying to lock you, if you resist that locking skill to revive your champions or to cleanse your team, that's the difference between losing or winning a battle. This is extremely powerful. I put it on very strong, but could be godlike. Nimble Miss, first legendary pentagonal gemstone. The wearer receives 5% turn meter each time an enemy resists a debuff placed by the wearer. Cannot gain more than 20% turn meter. This is really strong. Very, 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 very situational. You don't want it to happen, but if it happens, it helps you to come back. This is strong, but in the middle of very strong. I think in the end, maybe around here. For example, your audience up there trying to debuff your enemy team. There are 4 stone skin. He does not debuff them. So you get 20% of your turn mid back if you do not debuff anybody. This is really strong. Skill Adapt. The wearer has 10% chance to prevent their skills being placed on cooldown during a next turn. So, if you have in your extra turn and you use a skill, you might not put them on cooldown. My gosh. Oh my gosh, this is godlike. This is godlike. And the combo with Chrono Cube is insanely powerful. Skill Adapt here is godlike. around here. Power reset. Whenever the wearer's HP drops below 50%, has 10% of chance to reduce the cooldown of a random active skill by 1 turn. Okay, it's very strong but very specific. If your reviver are going to be killed and his revival skill is on cooldown, you might get your revival skill back 1 turn earlier. Or if your nuker is going to get killed and his skill are on cooldown, you might get your best nuking skill back earlier. So it's very strong, but extremely situational. I'm gonna put it here in the end of very strong. Speedy willpower. The wearer receives 5% turn meat each time they resist a debuff. Cannot gain more than 20% turn meat in a single turn. So if I resist a debuff, I get more turn meat. Interesting, but so situational. Got potential, but the test is confusing. We need to test that. I'm going to put it on got potential around here. Growing Resolve. The wearer's resistance increased by 5 whenever a debuff is placed on them. Stack up to 40. Guys, if you have a resistant champion, you don't want to get any debuff on you. So the relevance of that, it's here. Maximum velocity. The wearers gain 10% turn meter after taking an extra turn. If you're taking your extra turn, you already got a turn. Why do you want turn meter? That happens after the extra turn ends. Confusing, but situational. I'm going to put not so relevant because I don't know how it works, but I'm going to put here on not so relevant, because if it works after the extra turn, it's good but not crazy good, not so relevant. Anyway, survival speed fills the wearer's turn meter by 10% when their HP drops below. This is crazy good. Survival is very strong around here, very strong around here, because if your reviver HP drops and you want to revive your team, that's crazy good for you. So survival speed is really good. It's like timely intervention somehow. Assured security. The wearer's resistance increased by 30 against buff removal and buff steal effects. This is extremely powerful. Gonna put it as godlike around here. Godlike around here. If you're using champions like Cardinal, that you don't want to be removed or something like that until you got your turn. It might end your battle without doing the things you need to do to survive. So assuring your resistance is higher than your opponent's accuracy might save totally your battle. Really strong. In for the kill. Rares from the pentagonal. The wearers gain 3% turn meter whenever an enemy loses 25% or more HP. Cannot gain more than 20%. Interesting, but not crazy good. I got potential, but very in the end here. Fleet Foot. The wearer's turn meter increase 5% faster when they are forced to miss their turn. What is forced to miss their turn again? It is stunned, freezed, sleeped, petrified, sheeped, working like that. If that's, this is really strong. If not, we need to know. So it got potential. I don't remember where I put the other one. I think it was here. So let me put it here. Here. Unbroken Strength. The wearer's resistance increased by 3 per each buff on them. Not so impactful. But one of the top of the not so impactful. Extra Velocity. The wearer's turn meter increases by 3% whenever the wearer fails to place a debuff. Cannot increase the turn meter by more than 20%. Oh, it's almost there. It's almost dead, but lower version. But it's powerful. It's powerful. Not extremely, it got potential. I will put it around here. Around here. So guys, this is our tier list of gemstones. This is our tier list of gemstones. It includes the relics and the gemstones, all revealed and ranked. All of them. I did not put any gemstone of crazy synergy because it's so situational. So the best ones I put it on godlike. The best gemstones I put on godlike. There are crazy good ones here. There are very synergetic ones around the S tier and the A tier. So when you get one of these, take a look on where you're going to place it, because the synergy between some of them and some relics are incredibly high, even more for the Chrono Cube and for this one right here. These two relics has a lot of synergy with a lot of these gemstones, and they are a lot more powerful when infused on the sockets of these two relics up here. Not that the other ones are bad, but these two will give you more success rate when infused on them. So that is the total review of all relics and all gemstones that we have in the game right now. I will put the link of the tier list fully down below. You're gonna be able to access it, to see it, to take a look, make a comment. Let me know in the comments what you think about them. There it was a very extensive video, very long, with a lot of information. You might disagree of the allocation of some of the gemstones or some of the relics, but that's a first view of them. We did not test everything around them. The time will be the best test to all of these. It might change the placement if new champions and new mechanics appear, new bosses, new content. It will change how relevant some of them are. New champions might appear that have crazy synergy with some gemstone or some relic itself. So the time might change everything. But at the moment, this is my feeling about all the relics and all the gemstones. I hope you like this kind of content, and if you like, do not forget to and as always guys, remember, it's all about arena. It's all about arena.